Hello. We are just getting started here. I see some familiar faces. Happy to see everybody. And yeah, I think we can go live. Well, we are live. What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we are here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Stevie V. This is episode 652, alongside Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. So nice to be with you this evening. We got lots to talk about, so get ready.
Yeah, the list is real of topics here. Just to give you a little, this is how I prepare. I'm so old school. I use Sharpies, I highlight. We do a meeting for this particular show. It's a lot of fun, but we've got some really good topics coming your way. All right, well, let's get into it because I wanted to start with something that has been blowing up the news. I mean, if you've been living under a rock, even if you don't live in America, you had to have heard of the group texts that
The
just
end all group
went
text.
to end all group texts when US national security leaders included somebody from The Atlantic, a journalist from a major news publication. They included, so it's all of the people that handle war related things, all the people in the Trump administration, JD Vance, and all those were in this group chat using not using their phones, but using a specific group app. But
Signal.
Signal, okay. And actually included somebody from the Atlantic in there talking about military strikes in Yemen. And they were actually talking about bombings that were going on, and it's been the news story that's been going all week. We won't continue to bore you about that because by now you've heard all about it. I've watched ad nauseum all these news stories, but it did get me thinking about group text in general. And you know me, Kodi, I've never been a fan of the group chat at
Girl, I've
all.
heard, girl.
I mean, I get it. It can be a useful tool at times, but I'm so old school in so many ways. And for example, I'm a part of, there's an organization that I've worked with in, throughout the years, and I'm currently in one of their WhatsApp group chats.
Okay.
And it, can I tell you, when that thing goes off, it just keeps going off. And everybody is talking about this and that. And it's like, child, I don't have time for all this. And it's like
I want to see
Diego keep
that.
I don't want to see that. Diego keeps saying, I could help you turn that off, right? Right. But even in situations like that, in this particular organization, there was somebody that was a part of the organization that was a team
Mhm.
person at one point that later turned on the organization. And there's like hundreds of people in this chat, mind you. And somebody that you know too. We'll tell you
Oh,
offline later. And
oh.
this person decided to voice their anger and their hatred towards what they didn't like about the organization. And normally it's all people talking about how happy they are, they're planning new plans for spring, they're doing this, they're, I mean, on and on and on. And normally, but this one caught my attention because it was a disgruntled member of the organization.
Ooh,
And
girl.
honey, that thing, they got them out of that group chat like, I mean, quicker than you could say hello. It was
Yeah.
that real. And that's what I mean. It's just, I think people and group chats, it can go awry. I also know a lot of friends that have family, like huge, large families, and they have these group chats going. And I can think of a friend of mine, and she's got like several of them because she's just got so many family members.
Mhm.
And there are just sometimes it's just too much. She has to silence some of them. I don't know. How do you feel about the group chat? Are you a
Well, first I want to
fan?
say
Yeah.
First, I want to say what happened was beyond unacceptable. And like they have all
Yeah.
these things to say about DEI, but clearly this man is unqualified to have his position. So let's just put
Yeah.
that out there. And so, but talking about group chats, okay? The thing about those is they're so useful in disseminating information. I put you in group chats. You were like, do not do that, honey. I do not want to be.
You put me in one with another friend of ours who's not very chatty on texting as it is, and he's way
Yeah.
younger than us. So I love it when you and I are going back and forth,
Yeah.
and it's as
Now
if
I
you and I
pick
are
and
texting, and
choose.
he barely like says anything in it. So I'm like, why did we start this group chat? Because he doesn't say anything.
Because then he gets the information. Like if we're meeting somewhere, then he knows all the information and everything. I don't have to make 2 text messages. So, but like you said, it can be used for ill gain as well, because then people get disgruntled. Somebody forgets what's going on, which group chat they're texting, and they want to really text June on the side, and they want to talk about Becky. They want to say how that bitch gets on her nerves, and they accidentally put it in the group chat. Oh, it's lovely. I live for
See,
mess.
that's
So
why this is an example this week of what not to do, and watch your group chats, because I just think things can definitely go awry. I can think of a guy that I used to know back in the day, and he was in several group chats, and he put up his naked ass picture on
see,
his family group chat, and it actually, his mom was on the group chat, and I said, what? Oh, I was horrified for him. I said, what did you do? He says he thought he was sending it to a friend, showing like, trying to be all sexy, and it went into the group chat by mistake, obviously. And he said he just turned his phone off immediately and
like that was going to
himself
save him.
and buried himself under his sheets and covers and just tried to forget about it. And most
Girl,
of the
you can't
family
hide
members
from it.
went the other way. I don't know if the mother actually opened it up, but I'm like, yeah, no. I mean, I already have enough problems with phones and all that issues. And whenever Diego looks at my phone, because I do stuff with OnlyFans and Just for Fans. And, I do have some stuff on my phone that is not suitable for work. And
Yep.
he's always like, you probably should clean some of this up a little
Just
bit, because
hide it, honey.
I
Just
know I need to I'm going to ask him how to hide some of this stuff, because sometimes my phone's like all over the place. If you were to get on it, like, heaven forbid somebody grabs my phone and gets in there, because it's just not. That's why I don't do
okay.
the group chats that much.
Since
So
we're on the topic.
yes.
Oh man, I can't believe I'm saying this. So I was at work, right? And I was doing this sexual harassment course. And I had to put you take a screenshot of the certificate. So I was in my photo album, and one of my coworkers happened to look over my shoulder, and he saw something he wasn't supposed to see. I
Even
was
with,
clocked
you've
out.
got that screen that blocks out a
Yeah.
lot of
That's why I
things.
was surprised, because I have the screen to protect it, but he must have been standing directly behind me. And that way, because if he was to the side, he wouldn't have seen it. And I wasn't even looking at that. I was looking for the certificate, but girl, he saw all the goods and kibbles and bits, honey. So
Yeah,
you got to be careful.
I have to be careful, and I'm flying this Saturday to Puerto Vallarta. Yay, shout out to Puerto Vallarta. But I have to be careful when I go on my laptop, because oftentimes I'll do work for this show, and on
Mhm.
my home screen will be some really not suitable for work
Or kids.
content on there, and I always have to be like, oops. Or maybe I was simply doing like what we're going to do a little later on this show, Thirst Trap, and that'll still be the last window that was opened up. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh shit, and I have to close that. But the one thing I don't like about when you watch a movie on a flight these days, they'll put
Mhm.
movies on that you can actually watch, like that JetBlue has all these films, and it will say, maybe, is this suitable for you to watch right now? Look around you. Are there children around? And I'm like, then don't offer the film for free on my flight. If I have to police and look around to see, look at, I'm getting all like flustered and pulling my headset out, to police if there's kids around. Like, to me,
No.
first of all, I've never watched the movie, so I don't know what you think is unsuitable for children. And I think the parent needs to watch the kid. Get Bluey going on that screen over there.
I'm watching what I want to watch. Put that
Me
little baby to bed,
too.
okay?
I don't like that they put it on us to have a conscience and morality all
I,
of a sudden, and we can only watch. I don't like that. I don't think they
I
should do
haven't
that.
birthed no babies. And if I had kids, I would definitely be taking care of them and making sure that they're not watching anything crazy.
Thank you. Well, let's move on to from podcaster. We're calling this to podcaster, and it comes out of Joe Budden. Joe Budden is he's a former rap artist, correct? Hip hop artist who has a very popular podcast right now called the Joe Budden Podcast. And he records his show like we do often in our apartments. Well, he's been arrested several times because in his apartment, apparently he sleepwalks at night. It's a condition, but he's been accused and arrested for walking around his apartment complex naked. And with the TV screen or with the
The
cameras,
ring.
they
Yeah.
filmed him. And he's grabbed his dick in some of these videos, but he claims that he just suffers from it's just a condition that he has, sleepwalking. Well,
Oh my.
also people have been complaining in his building recently because his show is very loud. Apparently there's sound effects, there's screaming, there are gunshots, not real gunshots, I don't believe, but they're just really loud on a show. He has hosts like we do. And I would say we can get loud often when we've got Lincoln, you, and myself here in studio. We record around 6 o'clock
Why
at
you put me
night.
in it? I'm quiet.
Well, we're kind of loud. We're drinking wine, but
No, yeah.
still, I think you still have to be, he's probably got tons of money. He's a former, what is it? NFL
He was
player?
no, he Joe Budden was a rapper
Rapper.
before.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
He was
And I
kind of a
just,
one-hit wonder.
okay. So maybe he can only record and he can't afford a studio after all. But I just
But his
think,
podcast is very successful.
okay,
And
podcast is
and he
very
was on Love and
successful.
Hip Hop.
So, what do you think about him, the nakedness, the loudness, people complaining? I mean, I've got some neighbors here that bro out I was telling you in our meeting, there's one
Mhm.
neighbor that could probably hear me right now because I'm kind of loud. But I don't know if it's March Madness, but he is broing out. The other day, I was telling you in the meeting that he had
Mhm.
another bro and they were screaming. It sounded like they were climbing up the walls.
Oh
I
my.
literally wanted to pound on that wall and say, because I was, of course, watching my Nat Geo show, criminals trying to go through security. And you know how I go down that rabbit hole when I love those
Not the
shows. And I was
zebras.
like,
Yes.
yeah, it's not the zebras, but the drugs lords and Maria, all that stuff I just love. But what do you think about Joe Budden? And I mean, come on.
Well, Joe Budden is no stranger to controversy. He's had a troubled history. Just all kinds of things are there. But it looked like he was finally kind of pulling things together. Like he was, on the right track. He was getting all his vices in check. And even though he still would say some controversial and divisive things, but I I thought that he was doing the right thing, but it seems a little wild for him to be up and about and sleepwalking nude. If I sleepwalk, first of all, I sleep nude too. If I sleepwalk, it would be a whole issue. There would be rings with me naked on it, but I would be looking fierce. So not like he was looking. But the thing that kind of is I think it's something for me is because if you sleep naked and you know that you sleepwalk, why aren't you putting on clothes? That is a simple
Yeah, put
solution
on a
to
cute outfit
you.
at least so that when you go to and by the way, I saw some close-ups of him naked in that
Ooh,
camera and it
girl.
is not cute. I mean, it's not, it's a close-up on his stomach and I was just like, yuck. Sorry. I hate
It
that.
just
It's
wasn't
always
attractive.
it wasn't attractive. And lately there's this whole thing of people going into airports, taking off their clothes in the middle of the street. They're always the people that you don't really want to see naked. Sorry, I said it. I don't want to see that, Valerie Cherish. And it's just wrong. It's wrong. People, I'm all about nudity. I talk about going to the naked beach every summer, but do it in I am a little bit conservative when it comes to this. Do it in the right
Oh,
spaces. And all of his neighbors have a right to be angry and up in arms because they don't want to see that either.
especially because there's so many other things that have been going on. If it was just this one thing, I could see them being forgiving because it is a condition that he suffers from. But when you add up the weed that he's smoking in the lobby and the loudness and all kinds of different other things, then I can see how they would be very upset and they could have a complaint. But if it was just this, I could kind of give him a pass. But no, Joe, get it together, boo.
Yeah. Oh, my group chat just went off again. Okay, I'm going to ignore it.
Oh, you got a group
Moving
chat? I'm
on.
not part of the
Yes,
group
I'm
chat.
just like, it's this other group chat that will not stop. Okay. Moving on, we've talked a lot about World Pride. We were talking about Khalid is the latest artist that will be going to World Pride, held in DC in early June, alongside the likes of Jennifer Lopez, Doechii, RuPaul. Oh, tons of artists are going to be there. But the latest news that we wanted to report on are World Pride organizers are urging global unity amid a calls for boycott. You might wonder, why are we asking for a boycott? It really all has to do with the African Human Rights Coalition is calling for this boycott of World Pride, citing grave concern about the safety of foreign LGBTQ attendees, especially transgender individuals and people of color. Well, the organization, which they advocate for LGBTQ plus Africans and asylum seekers, likened attending World Pride in the US to legitimizing apartheid era South Africa. Wow, that's a huge
Wow.
statement to be making. Also arguing that visibility in a hostile environment does not guarantee safety or progress. Well, the organizers of World Pride are really pushing back, as I think they should, and saying they're emphasizing that participation in the event is an act of resistance. And they actually say that the fact that it's being held in DC with this current administration is really a good thing. And a boycott of World Pride sends the wrong message, as said by the leaders of World Pride. How do you weigh in on this? I mean, I hear it for some of the transgender community coming from places like Africa, Kodi, that could put them at risk. What if they still had their current gender that they are on their passport, because some transgender people do? And what if the current administration, or they get over to America, just doesn't let them go back home, or
Yeah.
that gives them a hard time? There are reasons for concerns, and maybe World Pride needs to do a little bit more research on people entering the country with the current administration to find out at DC, is it Dulles Airport?
Yes.
To find out,
There's Dulles and
are we
there's
going
Ronald
to
Reagan, I think.
be stopping people that are transgender, so that they probably need to do a little bit more to assure the transgender community and all of the LGBTQ plus community coming in for World Pride. What are your thoughts?
So, if I would just automatically assume that that's going to be the case, the Trump administration has been very clear about their standing on what transgender individuals and how they are viewing people of trans experience. So, I would take that for granted that they are going to be very diligent about transgender people entering the country. But I, I get both sides. I see that, like you said, it can be a bit dicey when it comes to traveling as a transgender person. So honestly, personally, and I don't want to hold nobody, I don't want to exclude anybody. I think it's probably safer for them not to travel here. If you're already here, come on, let's go. Let's
Yeah.
fight this good fight. Let's do what we can in order to make sure that our voices are heard, and that they know that we're here and we're not going back in the closet. We're not going back to the 1950s that they want to establish that type of feeling back in the United States now. They want to take us back years and years and years and undo all kinds of progress. How fierce would it be if we were all in Washington? There were a million faggots in the streets of Washington, D.C., celebrating ourselves, loving ourselves, and just showing that we are human and that we are here to stay. So I personally want to go. I would love to be there. I would love for you to come with me, or we go together, and that we show this administration specifically that being gay is not illegal. It's something to be celebrated.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally excited about this particular year of World Pride. I love that it's being held in DC. I don't think they had planned on it being in DC.
Yeah.
They didn't know these plans for World Pride have were in the works for years. They were already planning the one after the last one, and so they didn't know what administration was going to be in office for this particular year, but I think it's more important than ever and really amazing. I do hear the concerns of different world leaders cautioning the transgender community if they're coming from places like Africa or other parts that maybe don't want to get caught up in the unknown. And so I hear those concerns as well. But I'm with you. If we can go, I say let's hop on a train, which we can do that, and fight the good fight. And it will be a good fight. And I think we stand with it. And my goodness, the lineup of artists, I would just love to see all of them. It sounds so
And
good.
plus, it's going to be a kiki, honey. We are
Yes.
not only is it a political stance, but it's going to be fun. So let's all go.
It's a busy year. We're lots going on, but I would love to try and make it there for sure. We want to remind everybody we're in front of a live virtual audience. Keep some of those comments coming through. Hello, Diego. Hello, James. Hi. Hello, George. And a few other people. So and Durand. Hi, Durand. Oh my goodness. All right, let's move on. This, of course, caught my attention because John Whaite, Whaite, you may know him as many of you are big fans of the Great British Bake Off. I know so many friends of mine are. He actually won the Great British Bake Off, but he was also a runner-up in Strictly Come Dancing. If you know anything about it's the equivalent to our ballroom. What's our show here in America that we have on
Dancing
ABC?
with the Stars.
Yeah, so Strictly, he was a runner-up on Strictly Come Dancing, so he's done well for himself. Well, Peugeot, the car company from France, actually gave him a car and recently asked him that they are parting ways with him because of his OnlyFans. He's got OnlyFans. He wrote recently, "Are you looking for a man that'll last longer than this car?" He wrote. "Well, that won't be hard to find," he says, as he's set to return it. He said, "Forgive me, Peugeot, for I have sinned." I love that. In the caption, the former TV star wrote, "Pettiness is in for 2025. When Peugeot UK found out about my OnlyFans, they asked me to no longer post about their brand and to give the car back. So I agreed. Disclaimer, this is just a laugh and it's actually a decent car, but so much for being an inclusive brand." First off, I just can't. Peugeot is French. And for them, everybody knows the French are all about sexuality and sex and la la la. I cannot believe in 2025 he is a huge major winner of the Great British Bake Off and other shows like Strictly Ballroom that I can't imagine that they would have a problem that he has an OnlyFans. They gave him his car and they're asking for it back. What? There's a name for it that we're not going to say because it's no longer appropriate. But come on, at least let him have the car, but don't ask for it back. And I'm sorry, they didn't do their due diligence to find out who he really is. And that's one tiny aspect of it. But it really goes down to what I keep saying, even on this show, that people do not like any businesses to talk about, especially big business, to talk about sex. We're supposed to never, and I can't believe in 2025, we still don't want people to admit that they have sex. Heaven forbid that you have an account. Like, we don't even know what he does on his OnlyFans, but the fact that he does have it immediately, even I think for our show, we've mentioned it, and there's a company by the name of Stripe that pays people. They've blocked our show from getting paid from our advertisers. We have to go through another loop because we've simply, I think, talked about adult content on our show.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, what do you fucking care? You will pay people. We are making money and they're taking their percentage as well. It's ridiculous that in 2025, and yes, I feel strongly about this because we continue to penalize and to crucify people in sexuality that are simply, sexuality is real, people. Get over it. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I'm sorry. Oh, give me 1 second. I was just looking at his OnlyFans. It is delicious, by the way.
Oh,
He is delicious, and you know what? I saw that dump truck when he was displaying that car, and I said, I have to give me a subscription right now. He is worth every single penny. I think I see Peugeot's point, right? If they want to distance themselves from someone that does OnlyFans, I totally get that. I agree with you. They should have done their research as far as what he represents, what he has done in the past, and they dropped the ball on there. And for them to take the car back, that's like taking a wedding ring back, an engagement ring back. That's just ridiculous. It's classless, and
it's
I will
also
never
not
support.
against the law, by the way, to have OnlyFans or anything like that.
But I,
Where you see all these religious leaders and pastors that are actually committing crimes with children. I mean, if we really wanted to on this show, we could talk. There's so many stories of
there's so
religious
many.
leaders that are actually in jail committing crimes. It isn't illegal to have an OnlyFans site. There's nothing illegal about it. It is
Yeah,
allowed. They just didn't do their due diligence, if that's really how they feel about it. He is more than his OnlyFans, though. He is a two-time winner of major television shows and has a whole different life.
yeah, I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that I understand their position as far as they want to distance themselves from someone who does sex work, and that's totally their right. But again, they should have done their research as far as he is concerned, and that as far I think it's something that they could have avoided, and I do think that it's something that they is kind of antiquated for them to even be thinking, because that sex work is work at the end of the day, and people, everybody has sex. Well, not some people that are celibate or what have you, but generally speaking, a
The
lot of
ones that
people
are
have sex out
complaining
here
are
in the
the
world.
ones that are probably are
They're doing the worst
disgruntled.
things. Yes, exactly. They're the ones that are
They
complaining
need to
have their
have
own little
sex.
secrets. Well, they're probably having sex that they don't want anybody to know about, and that's why they're disgruntled, because they're hiding this secret and this shame. So they're full of shame, actually. So I see how they could want to distance themselves from that, because I feel like even in this day and age, a lot of people have a lot of shame around sex. So I think that for them to do this, I don't understand why they would do it, but I can also see why they would do it. I personally would not distance myself from him, because he's super hot and he's doing something that I think that he loves and that he is really good at, because I've watched some of the videos.
Here's the thing about it too, is not no two adult content sites are the same. And here's the other thing, it's just that people are more well diverse than just that. He is not just, I have mine, and I am a podcast
Mhm.
producer, host, writer. I do so much more than just that. It is one aspect of my life, and these companies are going to have to do a lot more work before, because they think they want to glom on to the hottest thing. The Great British Bake Off is huge. Of course they wanted to align themselves with them. They gave them a car and all of this, and then they didn't do their work. And I think everybody has an OnlyFans. It's almost just like a podcast now, practically. So many people do. They're going to be running into this problem. But to ask for the car back, it's just like,
Classless.
please.
That
So,
is not
mm-mm,
something that you
yeah.
do.
Oh my God. We have to move on. And it comes in the form of, oh, well, actually, I just wanted to make a quick announcement that our Patreon page, our tags Patreon community, as we like to call it, because you can grab a free account. And I've been posting so many behind the scenes content recently. Diego and I were cooking up a storm the other day, and I gave you my recipe on what made this particular soup really good. I am
Mm.
about to on Friday post a picture of me as a leather man in the 90s, as opposed to a picture that
Ooh.
I just took in leather a few weeks ago. And it's crazy to see me in leather in both, but you're only going to see it on our Patreon page, and you can grab a free tier. But if you choose to and you want to grab or buy bonus content, you can. And we have a free bonus or new bonus episode coming out this Friday. It all
Nice.
happens over at patreon.com/tags podcast. So head over there and check it all out. Well, I wanted to talk about somebody that, did you want to talk about White Lotus more, or I feel like we've exhausted it?
It's up to you. I don't mind talking about White Lotus. I love
Let's
White Lotus, and I finally watched the episode.
We
So
finally watched the episode and the incest scene that everybody is up in arms about. But there is one person, Sam Nivola, the young brother in the family, that has been speaking up about his character. And he really says that, well, he is really figuring out his sexuality, and we're going to understand. There's only 2 more episodes left, but spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it yet, we'll give you a quick second. But he does jerk off his older brother in one scene. It didn't freak me out, though, as much as it did a lot of other people. And I think the 2 women that were on that same boat in this show brought it up in a way that I would bring it up. They told Patrick Schwarzenegger's character, do you know what you did like that last night with your brother? But they were just telling him he was in denial. And I just think I'm kind of like on there. I would think it's a little crazy, but I also wouldn't be flipping out. I mean, as a lot of people really are. I also don't think, we don't know exactly where it's going. I do think the show is a little bit of shock value for that aspect, but I do think there's an ultimate, I know Mike White, I love his writing, and I think we're going to find out some major things in the last 2 episodes. I'm here for it. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. And the fact that they couldn't remember anything, they did it under while they were intoxicated. I think that adds another layer of, I don't know, deniability or something that they can kind of wash it away with. But I feel like Sam Nivola's explanation of it and him saying really that he was just trying to, his character Lachlan was trying to find himself, and he wanted to be closer to his brother, all of these
and
things.
His sister as well.
And his sister, yeah, that's why.
If, she goes off to a Buddhist monastery,
And he stayed with her.
Parker Posey, who we love, the mom, says, I will let you stay here for a year if you go spend the night at that Buddhist monastery. And if you can handle that for the night, then you can stay here all next year. And he says he's really aligning himself with both of his siblings and trying to figure himself out in this crazy family that he is associated with. And I'm here for it. The last episode was so juicy. I know a lot of people are making so much about the whole incest family thing. I'm not up in.
I was definitely shocked. I was definitely taken aback.
It is, of course, it's shocking, yeah. But I'm not like, oh, he went too far, or
I don't think that he's like a horrible person, but I do. I was very taken aback. I was like, wow, that really happened, because in the beginning it looked like maybe it didn't happen, but of course we do, because Jeremy told us.
He did on episode 651. He, spoiler alert, for us. Absolutely. Okay, well, we've got to get into Grindr stories. We've got 3 of them coming your way. The first has to do with somebody that we talk about all the time on this show, Joel Kim Booster. And he was on a recent podcast that Grindr produces, and he was talking about the worst thing a potential hookup actually said to him. And it wasn't that kind, but if you listen to the whole interaction, did you hear the whole interaction that went on? He said, at one point I said, I'm old. He's talking to the guy that he's interested in. He said, at one point I said, I'm old. I have to go to bed. I'm so sorry, said Booster. The younger man replied, okay, boomer. Meaning older than he really is. Booster then said, thinking he wasn't being too rude, at least I look younger than you. That's what Joel Kim Booster said
Ooh,
to the guy.
there it goes.
Which, see, he
Hating the
kind of
label.
started it with that. I mean, I thought the other one said something that was
No,
just
when
a
he
little
said
tongue in
boomer,
cheek, but a little
no,
tongue in cheek. If you
that
said
was too
maybe
far.
I felt like it was probably 9 o'clock at night, and Joel Kim Booster said, I got to go to bed soon. So, and the other one said, okay, boomer. I think that was sort of like funny.
Mm-mm,
And
I don't
Joel
think
Kim
so.
Booster is a comedian. So come on, get a thicker skin if you're going to dish it out like he does. Well, the younger man shot back with something harsher. He decided to take it from that to, well, adult acne and acne scars will do that for a person, recalled
Mm-mm.
Booster. We're talking about his skin. Gen Z's ability to zero in on your greatest insecurity, Booster said. I was so shocked. I stopped responding, obviously. And then, of course, this big disconnect for me. The next day, he kept being like, when are you coming over to fuck me? When are you coming over? And I was like, well, never now. That was definitely one of the worst ones. I mean, I feel like, first of all, I say this ad nauseum that I don't do the apps ever, and I just have never, and I've gotten into it with people at bars before and told people where to go, but few and far between. But I just think it's too easy on the phone to get snarky or and it not be read well because you thought
Mhm.
you were being cute and funny, but it didn't. Maybe you struck a nerve, and
Didn't
people
translate.
can't
Yeah.
read tone. There is no tone in a phone text conversation or on an app. So, to Joel's point, he participated in it and accelerated it a lot as well. I think he should have just laughed it off. And the other one did go for the jugular, though, thinking he probably knew he was talking to a comedian and thought the other one would get it. But I think when you're talking about someone's appearance or you talk about someone's, in his case, Joel is very sensitive about maybe adult acne and it struck a chord. What do you say?
Oh, I think that if you don't know somebody that well, you should really tailor how you joke around with them. Even if you know them that well.
Yeah.
I think you can go too far when it comes to jokes very quickly. I think
Well,
that
we shouldn't be so sensitive that we can't say anything, even to our friends. I
well,
mean,
I don't
I
know.
don't
I
want to
feel
feel like I'm
like
monitoring myself all the time. I don't. And I don't want to live in a world like that.
yeah, but
Right?
also
Diego and I
people
joke
are
around.
sensitive and people have feelings. So I feel like you should be wary of people and their feelings and how and take that into consideration before you go around making jokes about how uh their skin or things that they can't
Oh,
change so readily.
personal appearance should be off the table for sure. Right? I mean, there was a political figure that joked about a governor that I do not like at all in Texas, that he was in a wheelchair, and she's somebody in Congress that I really like, and she's said this before about him rolling around in on his wheelchair, and I just think that's wrong. You should never talk about somebody's disability or somebody's
Yeah.
looks as a joke. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I get that he's a comedian and that this is something that he is they were probably joking around at first, but again, you don't know this person. You don't know where their insecurities are. So for him to even think that they were going to have sex afterwards, I thought that that was a little bit hilarious.
Well, and to your point, he fucked it up because he didn't get fucked in the end. It's like you don't go so
Don't
far
call
that you
me.
don't fuck it up so much that you don't get fucked in the end, is what I have to
That's
say.
right. That's
And
right.
he
And I
didn't get what
probably
he
still look younger than the 24-year-old.
yeah. Staying on Grindr because we said we had three stories and we're bundling it up for you. There's a recent Grindr addition that you can add to your profile, and I want to say that I am here for it. You can now add things like DoxyPep, and for those of you that don't know about DoxyPep, it is the anti I mean,
Post exposure.
yes, you would take DoxyPat post exposure after you felt like you maybe exposed yourself to an STD.
Mhm.
And within 72 hours, although my doctor says within 48 hours, you just want to take it as soon as possible. You would take 200 milligrams of this after you've been, it doesn't prevent things like HIV, but it does prevent potentially things like STIs. We're talking about things like chlamydia, gonorrhea, and that can be save you from having to go on stronger medication and spreading it around. Well, Grindr is adding new things because there's been studies that show a lot of people don't even know about doxypap. In fact, it's a small percentage of gay men that actually know. And as my doctor says, if we continue to not get tested for some of these STIs, we will continue to just keep passing it back and forth, and it will never leave the community. And so this is why doxypep is a good thing when you feel like you are more sexually active. Well, now you can add things like that on your profile to not only kind of educate in a PSA to those that look at your profile, but to say that you are practicing things, and practicing things like you can also put things like condoms if you are using condoms, or I'm HIV undetectable, or I'm on PrEP, or various vaccinations that you have had. I think this is a really good thing that Grindr is adding this. If I was on the app, I would add all of those things. What do you say to this?
I love it. I
Absolutely.
think it's yeah, I agree with you. I think that it's something that, it's going to benefit the community, because it's putting everything on Front Street, really. So it's best to be as upfront with these types of things and say them flat, because at the end of the day, it's less something that you can mince words with. I feel like this is something that is very important for the health and safety of our community and for the world in general. So I feel like we should just put it on Front Street and make sure that everybody knows when you're going to have sex with them.
Yeah, especially when, we take for granted on this show that people know about doxypap, that people even know about things like PrEP. And the percentage of people that have access to it is not as large as you would think. And so the more we can actually educate, if you could do that on your profile, I'm here for it. So this is a good
I
one
love DoxyPup.
on Grinder. I say yes, keep this going. And lastly, in our Grinder bundle, right now they are saying you can get even more connections and less waiting time. They're expanding the right now feature into 15 new cities. What do I mean by that? Well, on March 25th, Grindr announced an expansion of its new Right Now feature, and it was at first introduced in Australia and then went to DC back in 2024. Seems so long ago, but its intent allows users looking for an immediate connection to upload things like text and photos in a real-time feed. Instead of just the grid that you normally see when you're on those apps, now
Mhm.
there's an actual separate area that's a real-time feed. And as I was telling you in our meeting, well, I think this is cool. I think they're piggybacking off of the success of Sniffies. And we had the marketing director of Sniffies on our show, which isn't really an app. It's really a website that you can go on your phone, on your website, and they have things like you can find right now, but there is a feed. I think they just kind of copied that because that's really popular on sites like Sniffies. But basically, it's like if I posted something that I was really looking for this right now, it shows that I'm immediate and I'm not just like this stagnant post that am I even like awake? Am I checking my phone? That's why I hated all that crap because nobody's really answering any of that. And it was just like, to me, a waste of time. I hate it.
Okay.
Like I said it many times, I hate it. But I don't need to use it anymore, which is really good. But I love this idea of a feed because you can actually put what you're looking for right now, and you can be really specific in your description. How do you feel about this new addition, even though it's kind of like what Sniffies already has implemented in their programming?
Yeah, I think that that's deliberate for sure, because one app is definitely going to copy the other app. So I think that this is something that was inevitable, kind of, sort of. Me personally, I won't be using it. I am not the type of person that if I'm on Grindr or Sniffies, I'm not like a meetup right now type of person. Even on Sniffies, it's happened a couple times to where somebody has hit me up and I'm like, ooh, that ass looks too delicious for me to pass up. So it has happened a couple times, but I'm more of a plan ahead so I can make sure that I'm all ready and I'm ready to go and I am significantly trimmed and shaved and the meat is looking nice and juicy. So,
Here's
um,
the thing,
so
though. You can put in an announcement in that feed that says what you're really looking for, and where people might just scroll over the boxes, they might see a posting, and then when you get to talking with them, if they answer, it's almost like a personal, an ad.
yeah,
Then you can say, hey, I'm looking for this weekend, I'm looking for a date. You can be a little bit more specific, but it's kind of like
yeah,
a headliner that separates, makes it more about it's a marketing tool, I think, that
yeah.
the other thing isn't really working right now.
Yeah, no, I hear you and I understand that, but I feel like if I put that in there and I wasn't looking for right now, I sometimes I even feel bad being on Sniffies because a lot of those guys are looking for in the moment sex and they're looking to connect right away. So, and I'm generally speaking not I got to work, I got things to do, I need to go to the gym. So, I'm not generally looking for right now in the moment. I'm looking to plan ahead. So, and also I really like to talk to people before I go over and pound their brains out.
And by talking, do you mean getting on the phone?
No, like chatting with them as far as texting with them back and forth about not how their day went or but just, what they like, sending some pics back and forth. I like to build up a little bit of anticipation
I
before
just think that
I
this is a really good headliner feed, that you can do that, and then you can get their information and then bring it offline and still continue
yeah,
that conversation that you want to have in
I hear
text
you.
format. So I think it's a
And
good
I agree
thing.
with you. I agree with you. I
So
think that when all of these things are tools, and I've said this before ad nauseum, that all of this is tools. It's all something that you can use in any way you see fit. But I don't know if I'll be using this meet right now type of version with the news feed.
got
I didn't
it.
even know it existed on Sniffies before you had to tell me. I
Yeah, I
was
mean, I
like,
don't think
"What
it's like
is this?"
yeah. I mean, I think you can use it however you want to. I just think it's another marketing tool to get yourself noticed and meet people. Maybe it's planning it for Saturday night, but and you could even put that in there. I don't think it necessarily has to be right here, right now. But I
Mhm.
do think we talk so much negativity often with Grindr. They are the largest app out there for gay men to meet.
They are.
And I do like that we bundled three stories that they are implementing many things that are tools that hopefully will get people more laid and more dates and partners. So I'm kind of here for
Yeah.
them right now because I think they're educating people on our health, and they're also doing a lot to get people laid and partnered up. All
They
right.
should send us
Well,
a check.
they should. I know. We talk about all of them. Well, this sparked some controversy when a man said that he would never bottom for someone under 5'7". Well, as you can imagine, it sparked some fury from a lot of people, especially shorter
Under five
people.
seven.
Yeah, I mean, this was followed up, Kodi, with a story, not a story, a study that said that gay men in particular that are looking for tops are really looking for somebody that is taller, and somebody that is more of a bottom is looking, it's the reverse essentially. But let me read you a little bit. A social media user named Jagger Watson reiterated the findings with a post over the weekend. Says, babe, you're 5'7" and I'm 6'2". I'm not bottoming for you. And that didn't sit very well with many people because a lot of people don't have problems with that. But I just wanted to read you a few different stats here. First off, how do you feel about that? And then I'll read you some of the stats.
I don't mind. See, when I do bottom, I don't mind if the person is shorter than me. It really just depends on their whole vibe and how muscly they are. They
But
have to
you're more
be.
top, so you fit into
I am
the
more top.
study
So
that's what
this
most people are looking at.
when I am topping somebody, I have climbed many mountains and they have always enjoyed it. Trust me, I've there's nothing that I like more than a tall bottom. But generally speaking, I do go for shorter guys. So I don't know. I if it's a hole is a hole at
See,
this
then
point. So.
so let me just read you a little bit and we'll discuss. Researchers looked at the height preferences among gay men and found men who preferred a more dominant and more active sexual role, that would be you, preferred shorter partners, whereas those that preferred a more submissive and more passive sexual role preferred taller partners, according to this particular study. So that's when it ignited this post. But I don't fall into any of those. I've always liked people my height. Diego and I are like the same exact height.
Oh,
And I like that. I've always almost been with people my height. I don't know. I don't like it when they're too tall, and I don't like them when they're too short. I just I
just
just
right.
think I don't like it. I just
Get it, Goldilocks.
Yeah, and more recently, I've been more versatile anyway. So maybe I don't fit into that study, but you kind of fit into what they're talking
I
about.
do. Yeah. Generally speaking, I do like shorter guys. But again, I have slayed many mountains. I have been with taller guys and they have enjoyed it. Ooh. So I was at this club maybe 2 weeks ago in Midtown, and there was this. He was huge. His ass was just the fattest ass I've seen on a white guy in a very, very long time. And I slayed him down. He enjoyed every second of it. So yeah, I'm not opposed to it, but generally speaking, I do like shorter guys.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think for sex it doesn't really matter. I mean, I think it's it's just fun. You should
Yeah.
like for sex I've gotten into shorter, taller, and had a really good time. For some reason with relate I love that I'm currently with a partner that's like my around my height. I don't know. I just like that.
Mhm.
I just feel like I feel comfortable with it. But for sex, I feel like who cares? Yeah, who
Yeah.
cares if they're taller or shorter and who's doing who? I mean, hey, if it all
It all
fits, it's
goes.
good for
Anything goes.
me.
If it all
Seriously.
fits, I'm gonna get that on a shirt. If it all fits, let's
Yeah,
go.
really. I mean, come on. Yeah.
Perfect. I
That
will admit though, I was a little bit intimidated to have sex with him because he was a tall guy. So, and he was like muscly, and his booty, Jesus, Lord help me. Okay, yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
I love it. Well, we love giving advice on this show, and tonight is no different than any other night. And this one comes from Reddit. By the way, you can always write into us, and we love giving solicited and unsolicited advice. We will give our handles at the end of the show, but you can also go to TAGSPodcast.com and email us via the site. If you have a conundrum, relationship, or sex, we are here for you. Well, let me read this one, and then we'll discuss. It's my new ex's new boyfriend messaged me. Uh-oh. After
Let's
a
get a drink.
5-year relationship, my ex broke up with me around the holidays. About a week ago, his new boyfriend messaged me with some concerns. He said that they've been dating for a few months, which means my ex jumped straight into bed with this new guy. He also told me about some contention they've been having and essentially sought me out to make sure he wasn't crazy. He told me a lot of things, but here's the part that got me. He told me that among many other issues, when they're in bed together, my ex wants to compare me to the new guy for sexual pleasure. Wow. He said my ex tries to compare my hairline, age, weight, penis size, height, and body hair to the new guy's corresponding features in a way that degrades me. Ooh. The new guy said he's
Wow.
very uncomfortable with it. I found this to be very enlightening for a few reasons. One, my ex never complimented me about my features, and I still had to work through a lot of body dysmorphia and self esteem issues regarding these things. And my ex was there for a lot of that. To me, where I'm coming from, the new guy is 24, 5'11, full head of hair, and not overweight. I'm 33, 5'4, balding, and struggle with being slightly overweight. Essentially, I feel like I inadvertently found out that my ex, who I was with for 5 years, has always thought I was
Wow.
ugly. I guess I would just like to hear someone else's thoughts on this. Well, I can't imagine why the new boyfriend decided to message the ex, for starters. Can you?
It probably makes him feel really weird for his boyfriend to be comparing him to his ex. That's would
But
be
you
strange
talk
to
to
me as
your
somebody.
well, then you talk to the boyfriend. You don't on your own go out reaching
Maybe
out
he
to the
did.
ex. I don't like that idea. Don't they're broken. If he is talking about him, don't involve the ex in the whole matter. Now it's this three thing
That's true.
that he didn't ask for that. Now we're reading this whole conundrum of the ex who feels like it's bringing up all these issues of not being worthy, not looking right. And look what he did to him. It's like you should have
Yeah.
just left him alone and
Yeah, I
dealt
agree.
with it. Why are you always talking about your ex? Go on one of
I
those
hear you.
shows, my ex, and live in one of those dumb beach houses like all those other idiots.
I hear you, and I agree with you. Don't bring this guy's already dealing with some self-esteem issues, clearly because of his ex. And you know what? I kind of get it because my ex, he would tell other people how attractive he thought I was, but he was very reluctant to give me compliments. So that messes with your head as far as feeling attractive and things of that nature. So I get where he's coming from. It's really difficult to deal with. And I personally would say that if this guy cannot give you and show you the love that you deserve, then you're better off without him. Somebody out there is going to love you. Somebody out there is going to treat you with the respect and the admiration that you deserve. So just go out there and find somebody else.
Yeah, this guy sounds like a big loser anyway. They should both
Dick
just
bag.
forget
And his
about him and
new
move
boyfriend is kind of a
on.
dick too. I didn't even see that coming, and you just helped me out with that. So
Well,
thank you,
I
boo.
just think, how dare you go to like why are you conjuring up drama and they're already broken up? It's not like he said I want to be with him, and you just have no business going to the ex-boyfriend. Deal with it on your own. And that's what I got to say on that. Oh my gosh. Well, one of our favorite things to do is buy straight up gay porn, and it's called Thirst Trap, where they put together, in this case, 13 gay porn stars who took the best photo. And last week's winner was Renato Schipe. Is that how you say his name? Schipe?
Good enough for
How do you
me.
how do you pronounce it? How do they come up with these
Renato
names?
is 100% sure.
S
I
H
don't know.
I P
His
P E E Sheepy? Renato
I don't know. His
Sheepy?
mama didn't
You
give him
know
that
that's not
name,
his
so
name. Anyways, whatever. It's our job on an audio podcast to vividly describe why we picked the one we did. I already voted for mine earlier today, and I guess I'll go first if you want. I didn't love this
yeah, go
week's
ahead.
collection as much,
Yeah.
but I did love the last one, and it's by Lydian Gray, who is looking really sexy, very articulate with his speckles, glasses on, his nice cropped beard, and really nice cropped, I would say, chest hair. He's got great nipples. He's looking down at the camera, and it looks like he's wearing a singlet, a wrestling singlet that he took over and is just exposing his chest. Well, out of it, he had nothing under, and he has a really rock hard cot. He has one wrestling sock on and one barefoot on, and he's got really good feet. I did a little bit of deep dive into him, and turns out he is a foot dom at times and likes his feet worship. So he gets my vote because that's what I'm into. Who got your pick and why?
So mine is just a little bit further up, maybe two or three, and I chose Latino XL. I'm with you. I didn't really like a lot of the guys this week, but you know what? I thought Latino XL was super hot. He's in the shower.
Was
He's
it a
got
two
tattoos all over
star out
his
of
chest.
four this week or?
I know, right? I was like, okay.
Uh,
I mean, I'd fuck all
that's
of them,
okay. It
but
happens.
he's in the shower. He's got the water dripping all over him. He's got his hair is wet. He's got chains on. He's got the fattest cock ever. So he got my vote for this week. And
As did James, watching us live, says same for him. Latino XL for me too.
thanks,
So
James.
you are on point with that. I love it. Be sure and vote for that because we love to keep this segment going and keep straight up gay porn doing this because it's really a fun segment and I love it. He does a lot of work to get these pictures together, scrubbing tirelessly the internet for these. Well,
I
the rest of them,
mean,
yeah. I'd
I'll
rather
take the
do
job
this
if
than
he
watch
wants.
the news. I mean, my God. Okay, well, so much fun. Always fun every Wednesday night. I couldn't do this without Kodi. You can follow him on the gram at Mr. Maurice, at Mr. Maurice. But it's also his Blue Sky account at the same handle, at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on the gram. I am underscore Steve V, or go to my Blue Sky or X account at TAGSPodcast, where you do get a preview of my adult, not suitable for work. I guess I won't be getting a Peugeot anytime soon. Damn
I
it.
saw that comment.
Oh well.
Oh,
it's
you will, but
it's
they'll take it
the
back.
it's the subway for me. But follow us, go to tagspodcast.com, and don't forget to go to our Patreon page for behind the scenes coverage. It's patreon.com/tags podcast. And Kodi, in the meantime, continue having hot
Hot
gay
gay
sex. Thanks, everybody.
sex.
Thanks, live virtual audience.